then DeCastro.
You may know him as Andy from The Office or Stu from the Hangover movies, but Ed Helms, the actor, now adds podcast host to his resume, hosting iHeartRadio's SNAFU, all about history's greatest screw-ups. The pod is currently in its third season, and Ed joins me now. Hello, Ed. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
So please, tell us all about this podcast.
Okay, so the podcast SNAFU is all about history's greatest screw-ups. And season 3, which just came out, each season is a deep dive into one crazy historical snafu. I'm incredibly proud of it. It's deeply immersive storytelling, but also very funny. And season 3 is about Formula 6, which is the story of how during Prohibition, the U.S. government started deliberately adding poison to the industrial alcohol supply, knowing that would filter into the bootleg consumer alcohol supply and make people very, very sick. What wound up happening is thousands of people died because of this poisoning that was deliberate, and it's just insane. It's absolutely insane. The U.S. government was killing people during Prohibition to try to stop them from drinking. What's worse, drinking or murder? I'm not sure, but it's a truly wild story, and it's one of those stories that we all know about Prohibition, but we just don't know some of the crazy details, and that's what's really cool about this one.
Now, there's a companion book as well, right?
Yeah, there's a book called SNAFU, The Definitive Guide to History's Greatest Screw-Ups, and it's really fun. You can learn all about that at snafu-book.com. I'm also going on a book tour. You can see all the events and tickets and stuff at snafu-book.com. And that's a really fun book. I'm so proud of that. It's very funny, but it's real history. Again, it's deep storytelling, lots of research, and it's great because each chapter is a new snafu. The podcast is a whole season dedicated to one immersive story. The book is a lot more sort of episodic and fun that way. So both really great, and I'm really proud of it. We really wanted to elevate this podcast and give it almost like a cinematic audio experience. So you're really in it. You feel the atmosphere. You feel the time period. You feel the energy of the people. We use a lot of archival audio, like radio news broadcasts and clips, TV from the time period that we're talking about, experts, historians. We're kind of layering in and really trying to keep the story punchy and cool. And I really do think true crime is a great comparison because it just feels fun. It's gripping and funny and cool.
Do you have a team to help research the stories that you cover?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got a great team, and we're just looking for those things that you're like, what the hell? And then you dig a little deeper, and it's like Pandora's box. You just keep finding more and more insane stuff, and then we start talking to historians, and that's where it gets really real. In the podcast, is we interview a lot of like experts on these things, and in some cases, especially like the first season of SNAFU, we're talking to people actually involved. Season 1 is about a NATO military exercise in the 80s that almost caused a nuclear war, and there are people still around who were involved in that. And so they're in the podcast. Season 2 is about a bunch of activists who broke into an FBI office in the 70s. Some of those people are still with us and were so generous to talk to us. They leaked their findings to the Washington Post, and that reporter, Betty Metzger, was an integral part of Season 2. She was an incredible, really a hero in the 70s, and a great helper for us with that podcast. So it's fascinating stuff. It's funny. We make it fun and funny, but it's also real. I mean, we're talking, this is real history, and it's cool.
That's great. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Ed.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Folks, check out snafu-book.com, which will be released on April 29th, and subscribe to SNAFU with Ed Helms on your favorite podcast platform.
You're listening to Ben DeCastro.